Hi, I'm Omid Rochandel from ZDC, and this is the new edition of GRE Monday. As you know, there are a lot of misconceptions about the test, and unfortunately, much of what we know about the test is confined to the things we read on the social media, many of which are not reliable in the least bit. So, in this series of videos, we've decided to pick a GRE expert's brains in order to tackle the misconceptions and provide clarifications on the ambiguities of the test. Here with me is Abulfaz Zangine.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Abulfaz, the first picture that comes to mind when you first hear the word GRE is the vocabulary. So
Yes.
there are some tough words.
Yeah.
To what extent is it a good or realistic representative of the test?
Actually, you cannot deny the fact that to take the GRE exam and to actually get a good score on that test, definitely you need a lot of words, but it's not all the story. I mean, there are a lot of different things which are in action and which are being tested, but mostly among Iranian people, there is this kind of misconception that when you're talking about the GRE, you're talking about a test which is just like 10 times harder than IELTS exam or TOEFL exam. So the first step that many Iranian people, test takers, want to take is just like to memorize a lot of words, a lot of...
So we know that there is an inherent difference between the GRE or the GMAT test and other test proficiency tests, such as TOEFL or IELTS.
Actually, you already answered your question because you called IELTS and TOEFL proficiency tests, but for the GRE and GMAT, when we're talking about these two exams, or LSAT or SAT or ACT exams, all of them fall actually into the category of aptitude tests. When we're talking about aptitude tests, we're talking about a test which is testing something beyond acquired skills like speaking, reading, writing, and stuff like that. As you know, American people are required to take the test, the GRE exam. And it's pretty much similar to something that we have in Iran, university entrance exam, right? And the score that they get there pretty much defines the ticket that they can buy to the university. The higher score you get, definitely you can get into a better university. So it is not just vocabulary. It is not just like simple writing. When we're talking about AWA or analytical writing assessment, in GRE exam, definitely we're not talking about paragraph development. We're not talking about like simple 5-paragraph essay writing.
So what is it exactly that we are talking about when we say that it goes beyond the proficiency?
Aptitude tests are designed to tell a lot about your personality. And they just want to tell those people who want to spend a lot of money on you. I'm talking about that educational budget. These tests are designed to represent a very clear image of you, and but this is very important that they know before starting this journey, I'm talking about your education, that you will end that journey or not, and at the end of the day, you will become quite good asset for them or not. When we're talking about the GRE, first step is memorizing a lot of words, right? So perseverance is in action, right? 2,000, 3,000, very chunky words. It takes a lot of time to memorize these words, just like memorizing or going for the roots, stuff like that. So the first step is testing your perseverance. Second one is time management, stress management, and some traits in your personality: hesitation, courage, and controlling yourself. And just like creativity is very important. But this test is designed to check your creativity a lot, because in some math questions, it's not just like simple math that based on some formula you can arrive at the conclusion and say that, hey, this is the answer. No, this is not the whole story. Some of them really are time consuming, and you need to spend a lot of time if you do not have that kind of advantage. I'm talking about that creativity.
So summarize your creativity, your perseverance, also your time management, stress management. These are things that are being assessed
Yeah, all of them are assessed there, and the most important factor which is being assessed is problem-solving ability. Listen, I have...
And when we're talking about problem solving, we don't mean knowing formulas out there to solve problems.
No. I mean,
it's not just that.
Right now you're in a situation, okay? What is the fastest way to get out of the situation?
All right.
This is the whole story.
So it relies on your creativity.
It relies on creativity,
and your
present-mindedness. And it's a psychology test. You know, as you know, aptitude tests are just like created based on a foundation of psychology. We have a kind of interdisciplinary field, we call it psycholinguistics, and another interdisciplinary field, we call it psychometrics. GRE and GMAT, LSAT, all of them are designed based on this foundation. It's psychology and linguistics, and just like verbal reasoning skill, quantitative reasoning skill, writing skill, all of them are based on psychometrics.
All right, you just mentioned the role that GRE plays in getting you into the universities.
Yes.
I want you to tell us why some universities, actually the majority of them, they specify the minimum requirement for the TOEFL and the IELTS score. But when it comes to GRE or GMAT, then there's not a lot of things that we know, but they're not yet.
They do not specify a minimum score. Actually, recently I have seen some medium-range universities. They started specifying some minimums for the GRE or the GMAT.
Actually, at best, they will provide you with like the last year's average GRE score, but
they do not tell you that, hey, if you get this score, definitely you buy a ticket to our university. The point is this, IELTS and TOEFL tell us about your skill, your ability to communicate in that language. But GRE and GMAT tell us about your somehow IQ, tell us about your some other skills which are not tested on TOEFL and IELTS, like your problem-solving ability, like your time management, stress management, perseverance, and stuff like that. So they leave it open to the best ones. You know, they just want to pick the best. So they never tell you that, hey, the minimum score for the GRE is this. If you get this, definitely you get into our university. So the point is this: they leave it blank. They do not put anything on their website as the minimum requirement for the GRE, and they wait for the best students to apply for that university.
But can you give us a rough figure?
If you're aiming at master's programs, normally something around 300 to 310 is for non-native speakers acceptable, but there is a very big condition. If you are not applying for MBA, if you want to replace the GRE score for the GMAT score, in that case, this conversion is not very fair. So if I were you, and I would want to replace this one for the GMAT. As you know, GMAT has long been the standard test for evaluating students for MBA courses. If you want to replace GMAT with the GRE, so it's a good idea to think about something around 310 and 320.
320.
For master's program, right? And for PhD programs, I guess the GRE score, the minimum score for the GRE which is accepted is something around 310 to 320 or more than that, definitely. And for the GMAT, if you're applying for DBA or PhD in management or some other fields which are related to management, definitely 320, 325. And the writing score is very important. So many people have a kind of...
For all universities or some?
No, they have this kind of misconception that writing is not very important. Writing is important for master's program. You need to at least get 3.5 out of 6. And for the PhD program, you need at least 4.
At least 4? I didn't know that.
Out of 6.
With these things being said, I have another question for you. We talked about the difference between aptitude tests and proficiency tests.
Actually, there's a world of difference, you know.
Yeah, I know.
We just
touched on them. So my question is, the score report for the IELTS and the TOEFL test are only valid for 2 years.
Yes.
What about the GRE and GMAT?
Exactly. Again, that's one of the differences between aptitude tests and proficiency tests. When you're talking about proficiency, you're talking about acquired skills, something that you have spent time and little by little and gradually you acquire it. And if you do not practice it, definitely you lose it. So IELTS and TOEFL are of this nature. So it's valid for almost 2 years. Not almost, exactly for 2 years. And after 2 years, you have to retake the test to prove that, hey, I still have this kind of ability. I can still communicate. I can still write. I can still speak English. But for GMAT, because part of the GMAT and the GRE, part of the test, part of the result is within you, and you cannot change it even if you want to. So the time that the result is valid and you can use it to apply to different universities is almost 5 years.
5 years. Okay, interesting to know that.
Yes.
Thank you very much. For more information, visit our website at zdcprep.com or subscribe to our channels. If you like this video, please tap the like button. And in case you have any questions, you can leave a comment below. See you next week.